So today I'm going to be reviewing the very first box ever put out by Crochet Society. This is a past box. And so today happens to be the last day of the past boxes that I am reviewing for Crochet Society. Now, for those of you who don't know, my box 46, I had many issues from beginning to end with it. There were some good things about it, but there were many mistakes and issues along the way. So you'll just have to watch that video if you're interested in understanding more about what it is I'm talking about. So this box that I'm doing today is the third of 3 past boxes that I've gotten since box 46. So these 3 boxes were box 45, 40, and now box 1. And while I had planned to spread these boxes out through the course of many months, because I'm actually also getting the Crochet Society boxes for about a year. We'll see how it goes. And I'll track what I think about them, what I don't think about them, the hits and the misses and all that good stuff. But they put a box out about every 2 months. And so far, a couple of the boxes, well, rather I should say, one box worked out really well for me. And I was really pleased with that box. My first box, well, I was good with parts of it, but my whole experience around it did not make me happy at all. My second box, well, you're just going to have to look at the video to see what I find so humorous about that one. So now I'm working on the last box. So this will actually work up to be my 4th Crochet Society box. And then from here, I'm going to be receiving the regular monthly boxes that come. And so my next box I'll be receiving is going to be 47, and then after that 48, and so on and so forth. So this box, I just don't know. So let me start off by saying hello. My name is Sig. This is Essential Crochet, and you are always welcomed here. Now, especially when I do my review boxes, when I review my boxes, the various crochet subscription boxes I bring to this channel, I just like to remind folks that my opinions, my perceptions, my reactions, my responses, they are all my own. I am not sponsored, I am not affiliated, and even if I were, honestly, they're still going to be my own because I'm that person. So this is what the very first crochet box booklet looks like. And you know how like the last booklet I showed you, and I know their later booklets all had the conversion charts and and many of the abbreviations already on the back of the booklet. Well, this one doesn't. But what it does have is a conversion chart. And then of course it's got the conversion chart and it gives you your abbreviations. So I'm going to begin by opening up the book to the page that explains to us what we should expect to find in this very first box. So the yarn that we should expect to get is from West Yorkshire Spinner Bo Peep. It's their Luxury Baby DK. And so what they've given us is this gray and then this, I wouldn't exactly call it mint, but it's like a very soft blue with just the littlest bit of a mint undertone. Now this yarn is a 52% Falkland wool and 48% nylon blend. It's made in the UK. This particular colorway is called Seahorse, this kind of bluish, slightly minty color. This gray toned this colorway is called Tin Man 305. Now these skeins are 50 grams, and for your 50 grams, you will get 112 meters or 122 yards. If you're using needles, you're going to use a US size 6 or a 4mm. Pretty much the same with a hook. You'll use a 4mm hook or a US 6 as well. You can wash these on a gentle cycle in cool water. Do not bleach, do not tumble dry, and do not iron. They suggest you reshape while it's damp and then just let it lay out to dry. So that's pretty. The wool it's soft, but it still feels like it has structure. So I would say that it's in the medium range of soft, or just maybe a little bit better, but it's certainly appropriate for baby skin. That's for sure. As long as your baby doesn't have any wool allergies, this will work beautifully with their skin, I would think. Okay, so let's just set that aside. The next thing it tells us that we've gotten, or that they gave us, is this notebook. So it's just a little lined page notebook with a "But First Crochet" little logo at the bottom of the page. You know, and I'm always using scraps of paper and jotting stuff down, so this is handy. The next thing they're giving us, or telling us that should be in our box, is this hook. So it's their signature polymer handle hook. And I'm just really not, I mean, it very much is polymer. You can see, you know, the fingerprints of whoever put the polymer around the hook. You know, it's kind of cute in that it matches the box, but other than that, don't get very excited about the quality, because it really doesn't exist with this handle. It just looks, you know, it's just kind of cute, or at least the intention is cute, right? Now, the hook itself, this hook from this box, is actually much nicer than the hook from the last box I showed you. I mean, this one, at least the milling on this hook is cleaner. The hook is sturdy. It's not wobbly filling. Or it doesn't feel like I can, you know, that it flexes very much, which is nice. Okay. You know, and I guess that's to be expected. You know, sometimes you change the distributor or the manufacturer in which you get your hooks, because I'm sure they have somebody or a group of people who actually make these hooks for them with this polymer clay handle. And so, you know, they get whatever hooks they get from wherever they get them, right? So the next thing it tells us that we're supposed to be getting in this kit are these little kind of Post-it sticky notes, and then a package of stitch markers. So here's the stitch markers. Again, they have the lobster claw hanger deal. And, you know, and they're nice. They're cute. Again, I'll just put them with the rest of my stitch markers and use them as zipper charms or something along that line, simply because I don't use stitch markers with charms hanging off of them when I use a stitch marker. So we'll put that aside. And then this is the little sticky notes. So you've got to be inspired, and then you got one with love, and then you've got your ball of yarn on the other one. So, you know, those are cute little gimmies. Now, they also give me a couple other things that are not listed on this page. So I have some amigurumis, kind of safety eyes, or, well, I'm assuming they're for a kind of an amigurumi pattern. And then they also gave me a little measuring tape. You can never have too many measuring tapes. And then, of course, this little bit of stuffing. So let's move on to see what kind of patterns were being offered. Okay, so here at the beginning of the book, we have abbreviations again. We have the different projects. So there's some Willowfield mitts. We have some pocket bears. We have some little slippers for a little baby girl. And then we have a wall hanging, a little bit of wall art. So let's see what our first pattern is. So our first pattern is the Willowfield mitts. And they tell us that this textured pattern combines the star stitch and the bobble stitch for a gorgeous and cozy pair of fingerless mitts. This is designed by Toni Lipsey, and most of us are probably going to know who Toni is. She does I think it's TL Yarn. I'm not entirely sure the name of her YouTube channel, but we all know this face. So she designed the very first pattern for their box, and that's kind of cool. So we have the option of making these mitts. The next option is the Diamond Delight. Create a beautiful wall hanging for your home using simple stitches. This is designed by Lucy. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I don't even know that I want to try for fear of butchering it. Djevdet. If anyone knows the pronunciation of that, let me know in the comment box below. So I think this is a decent wall hanging, a little bit of decent art, especially if you have a decor that matches with it. I think that could make someone happy. It's not really my style, but I can see somebody enjoying that quite a bit. The next project they offer us is the Penrose, or Penrose the Pocket Bear. So those are super cute. Those are, just basic. It'd be interesting to see how big those work up to be. Now, this pattern was designed by Julian Hewitt. Is she another pretty well-known crocheter? I'm terrible. I don't know all the well-known crocheters. I'm kind of off in my own little world over here. But they say the newest addition to Jillian's family of pocket pets is a cheeky little chap called Penrose. And then this last pattern is for what they're calling glass slippers. This quick but lacy and delicate slipper adds a touch of glamour to little feet. This is designed by Kate Golden. At this point, I don't need another set of fingerless mitts. And the wall hanging or the wall art really isn't my style. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to make the slippers. And then also I'm pretty sure I'm going to have enough yarn left over to make the Primrose Bear. And so I'll have slippers and a little matching bear as a gift, as a little baby gift. So I think that suits me just fine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work that up. And when I come back, we'll talk about my thoughts and impressions of the yarn, the pattern, what I thought of the pattern. I will, of course, show you the finished piece. So now, as you can tell from the image that just passed, that I changed my mind. I decided I wasn't going to do the slippers and the little pocket bears. I decided that I could use a pair of fingerless gloves after all. So I decided that I would do up that original pattern. And I did. And it used up most of the yarn that I had, and that was fine. I have this much left. And this yarn, I enjoyed this yarn. This was a nice yarn to work with. But I am admittedly partial to more natural or natural blend yarns over acrylic any day. And this was a really decent yarn to work with. Now, that's one thing I can give Crochet Society so far, is that they haven't given a yarn in any one of their boxes that I have been unhappy with. One yarn that I've used before, the Impressions by Stylecraft, I think that was probably the most basic yarn I've seen come in a kit, but I actually think that yarn is okay. So I don't have any, didn't have a problem with that yarn necessarily, and not for that particular project. Now, this yarn was nice to work with, and I thought it worked up real nice in the piece. And I'm glad to have a little bit left over, because these scraps I can certainly do something with. Here's a reminder of what that image of what these fingerless gloves are supposed to look like. And what I got was a great approximation. The pattern was well written. It was easy to follow. It didn't take me long to whip these up, maybe a couple of hours. It really turned out to be a very nice kind of evening or weekend project, depending on who you were and, you know, where your crochet level was at. So, for example, if you're like an intermediate crocheter, you'd have these done up in no time. As a beginner crocheter, I could see where you would definitely want to utilize the videos they offer, the tutorial videos that they offer online to help you with your star stitch, because that might be a little confusing, and the bobble stitch might be a little confusing in terms of the directions. But I thought the bobble stitch, in terms of the directions given, was really pretty good. I thought it explained things pretty well. All your other stitches, like your ribbing stitch, was explained. That was easy to follow. Now the star stitch, I didn't have a problem with the star stitch because, well, I already know how to do it, and it's a stitch that I like quite a bit. But as a beginner, I think a beginner might have had some difficulty trying to do this with the instructions given in this book. So I think that's where the tutorial would have come in and been really nice to have in terms of video tutorials. But otherwise, I think once a beginner got the gist of what they needed to do with this stitch, it would have been super easy. It wouldn't have been a big deal. So yeah, I'm pleased. I thought the yarn that was chosen for this project was super appropriate. It worked out great. These are something that I'm going to use. I'm going to be happy to use. They're comfortable. They do what they're supposed to do. They look good. The design was good. Yeah, I'm completely happy with this one. The hook that they supplied in the kit, while I can, I don't need the little polymer clay handle, because I get why they do it, and it's kind of cute if you can look past the, the natural flaws of, of somebody making it and putting it together. But the actual hook itself, that was nice. I think I mentioned before that the milling on that was clean. Hook itself wasn't flexible. It was pretty sturdy. So that was really nice. And this is the first box. So, so I think the quality of that hook was actually quite a bit better than the hooks in the other boxes that I reviewed. However, I have my own hooks. I'm happy to have whatever hooks is given to me in a box. I just set them aside. So it's not a big deal one way or another to me if what their quality is. I mean, if they're a decent quality, I'm happy to always have a decent quality hook. But if the quality isn't so great, that's not a make it or break it for me for the box. And so this box was a hit. It worked out really well, at least the pattern that I eventually chose to do for the box. I have no complaints. I'm quite pleased with. The yarn was great with it. And I think so far with the Crochet Society boxes, I think the one thing that has kept me from just canceling the subscription altogether at this point, well, actually, I have two things, right? The first thing is the yarn. Typically, I have, all the yarn that I have seen or gotten, well, except for the acrylic, which is a pretty basic yarn, but it's a decent yarn. All the other yarns that they've put in these boxes have been they've been nice yarns, right? All of them. Even the acrylic was a nice yarn. And better yet, the yarns have all been quite appropriate for the projects given, or at least the projects that I've chosen to, as a pattern to do. So that's one of the very, very important things to me. Now, I'm going to play this by ear. I'm going to keep receiving these boxes. And my opinion may change down the road. I may decide to cancel the box, or I may decide to continue to get it if maybe, by all that is holy in the world, they work their personal bugs out and get back to the business of sending out quality boxes with quality patterns. No, we'll see. But for now, I just want to thank you for spending time with me today. I always appreciate it when you come and visit. Until we meet again at the next video, I just want you to continue to stay amazing and stay safe. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.